Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I remember back 2017 going to see Justice League and all the things happening with it, and leaving that 2-hour film directed by Joss Whedon as he came on and fixed it, thinking, and how disappointing that was. This is the first time live action you're getting the Justice League in a movie, and it's How disappointed would you have felt? And this is the thing, context, because you can compare it to the Avengers. The Avengers are not Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Because of Kevin Feige, because of the MCU and all the talent that has gone into those films, they feel like the premier superhero team. But, from the comics, the Avengers is not the Justice League. Justice League is, here. Justice League is the top of DC's heroes. The Avengers characters that we got in the 2012 film are not Marvel's crowning pieces. It's not X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. So you leave that first Avengers movie feeling like, oh my god! You left Justice League feeling like, and it's sad. And I personally don't think that movie is a bad movie. It's just, It went in breezy, through, nothing too deep, nothing too complex. Throw in a bunch of comic relief because, Joss Whedon. But Zack Snyder is a very different filmmaker. I'm not in general a huge fan of Zack Snyder. I do really, really enjoy Watchmen. If I have to really think about it, Watchmen is probably my favorite Zack Snyder film. And I like Man of Steel more and more that I watch it. I dislike Batman v Superman. I thought it was a hot mess. And narratively, tonally, just, there's very visible editing issues. And I've seen the Ultimate Edition, and it is an improvement. So, there's a history of films being improved from Zack Snyder by letting him just do his thing. Did we need a 4-hour Justice League movie? I don't think so. There's definitely things that could have stayed trim in this. And there's definitely some pacing things. And there's also some weird choices. The first 10 minutes of the film, there could have been an economic way of showing Superman dying opened up the mother boxes. Because, he dies in Batman v Superman, the first 10 minutes of this film is slowly going to each mother box, clicking open. I know they're drawing out, they're building emotion, building tension. Things like that. There's certain things in this film that could have got to the point quicker. There's also some weird things, like the introduction of Aquaman with the whole, town, singing and whatever after he jumps in the water and the one woman starts, sniffing his sweater. Weird. There's certain things I'm just those things need to be in this film. There's a lot more time spent on these characters, which is appreciated because they felt so rushed in the original cut of this film. And the characters get fleshed out. Cyborg gets infinitely better in this film, and I felt emotionally connected to his story based off of this film. They cut down on a lot of the humor in this film. You still get Barry Allen, Flash, making some awkward jokes and stuff like that, but not as, in your face as in Justice League, the 2017 theatrical cut. And you also get, for most of the film, Barry probably was my least favorite part, because, still, some of the things, the jokes didn't fit. This film is so serious through most of the film, but, things like them digging up Superman's grave, and Barry Allen making like, do you think Diana likes younger guys? And Cyborg's like, she's 5,000 years old. They're all younger guys. And I'm just like, ha ha ha. Like, jokes like that fell completely flat. Those things didn't work. But in general, I think expanding a lot of the character moments really helped. Some of the action moments, especially in like the first half of the film, first 2 hours of the film, like felt a little too stretched out and could have been a little, like, one particular scene that I felt like went on too long is Steppenwolf getting the mother box from Themyscira. Like, that could have been condensed a bit. And also, slow-mo. There's certain scenes that the slow-mo works great. Other scenes, I'm like, this film could have been 3 hours if you just put it in normal speed. So, there's definitely moments like that. There's still a lot of Zack Snyder isms that I don't like and don't work for me, specifically. And they're still prevalent in here. But, in general, the film still feels like, probably up until, like, the last hour and a half or so, just feels like the same exact movie with deleted scenes in it. And, yeah, it is. This is a director's cut. This isn't a new movie. And, like, I'm not including Zack Snyder's Justice League on, like, my list of 2021 films because it's not a 2021 film. Like, I wouldn't put Blade Runner Final Cut in, like, my top movies of, like, 2000 whatever when that came out. It's a director's cut of a movie that came out in 2017. It's not a new film. They do make some choices that make it better. Score. Nothing against Danny Elfman. Tom Hulkenberg, Junkie XL, this score is killer. And adds gravitas to the emotional scenes and adds just intensity to the action sequences. It's just a more lively and dynamic score. The chapter setup with like the epilogue, this film, along with the score, with the editing and the framing of the narrative, makes it feel epic. I'm not going to argue that. This movie felt epic. And I think it needed it. If you're going to make a 4-hour movie, it needs to feel epic. Like, this felt like a old, so I'm like, I was waiting for an overture, an intermission at some point. Like those, like, title cards popping up. This film feels like they just made a grander scale of it. Steppenwolf is a slightly more interesting villain. Still not a great villain, but he's more interesting. You got more depth to his motivations, and you got more dark side. Well, you got dark side. Dark side's also not in this movie that much. Very small parts. Is he intimidating? Yes. Did the CGI look a lot better in this film than the last version? Yes. Are there still really bad CGI parts? Yes. Was scene with Roose Bolton from Game of Thrones robbing that place, he's like trying to set off like a bomb and stuff like that, and you had Diana coming in. Some of the effects of her fighting the men with the complete ragdolling. And some of the backgrounds, like scenery, feels really artificial at times. And there's definitely moments where that took me completely out of the film. The other choices, though, like the end without like the weird tintedness, works so much better. Like this, it was night, and that's fine. It worked. Taking out that family from that village worked, because that was pointless. But the climax of the film, you have Superman. The black suit was cool. It really worked and brought a different layer and dynamic to him. And they made Superman in this finale feel like Superman. And the final battle is really cool. It was more dynamic, it was more interesting, and more fleshed out, and brought more drama to it than it was in the original version. And they made some interesting choices, and everybody got a chance to shine, which was really cool. And in the end, I enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League quite a bit. Like, it's definitely not close to one of my favorite comic book movies, but I thought this was a marked improvement, and if they chose to make sequels to this, I'd be pretty excited. I got interested. I'm not going to talk much about the epilogue. They added some very interesting things. Some of them fell completely flat. One particular scene with one particular highly hyped character fell completely flat for me. But there's some other things that got added in that add some interesting layers. And it makes me interested to see what comes next. If nothing comes next, well, we have this one. If something does come next, I'll watch it. And I'll be looking forward to it. But we'll have to see. But those are my thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.